Faith is an interesting concept because it's believing in something that's not yet seen. And contrary to that, we have seen is believing. So which one comes first? Now, I believe we can see something before it's created in reality because we can see it in our mind's eye. And from there, we go through the process of faith to materialize it in reality. So what's stopping you from having the faith to produce the outcomes that you want? That's what we're going to be talking about today. The goal is that your faith will be strengthened by the end of this video. So let's jump into it. So somehow you don't believe in yourself, and this is usually connected to the way you were raised. It has a lot to do with your family, your environment, so like your community, your school, church, and other organizations. Somehow the messages that were fed to you made you believe that you don't have what it takes to create the desires that you want to see. So it's like whenever you're thinking about doing something, you end up self-sabotaging. You start thinking about all the reasons why it won't work opposed to the reasons that it will work. And you didn't do that on your own. This is like all the different messages and the different experiences that you had where somebody maybe laughed at you when you were trying to do something, or somebody said, you can't do it, like straight up, like you can't do it. And maybe you tried and you weren't successful, so you started to believe that that was true, but then you started to take it in other aspects of your life. So now times when you want to go towards goals, sometimes it doesn't even have to be something big, but there's this self-doubt, this negative self-talk that's happening within you that creates this inaction. So this has a knock-on effect because when you don't take action, you're gonna amplify the negative thoughts in your mind. And even if you did go ahead and take action but you didn't see through, the same thing is gonna happen. It's gonna amplify that negative self-talk. So let me give you an example with myself. I like to use my journey on YouTube because I've been trying to get on YouTube for the longest while. I actually shot my first YouTube video in 2018. Yeah, exactly, 2018. And this is 4 years later. It wasn't until last year is when I actually came on the tube, right? And before getting on YouTube, just thinking about it was paralyzing because it was in 2018 that I attempted to do it. And there's this long gap. So when I'm thinking about it, the negative talk is so loud, like it just feels as if like you'll die or something. Like it really feels like like scrambling your mind, literally scrambling your mind. And the thing is, it's not that you can't do it, right? It's just that all these negative things that you tell yourself, it creates this negative memory muscle. So every time I think about YouTube, I have a negative association. Well, in the past, every time that I talk about YouTube, there was this negative association along with it. And it doesn't even have to be just YouTube. It could be anything that you want to do that you don't see through or you don't even attempt. You're creating this muscle memory within yourself that says that I won't do the things that I say I'm gonna do, or the things that I want to do. So like for me, I use YouTube, but for you it'll be something completely different, but it will have the same negative impact because your mind is saying like, you said you were gonna do this, you didn't do it. You said you were gonna do that, you didn't do that either. So why is this time gonna be any different? So what you need to do is change your perspective. You need to focus on the end result, and specifically, how are you gonna feel at the end of this? Because this is why you want to do it. You want the feelings that it's gonna evoke. That's the only reason why we decide that we want to do anything, because we're trying to evoke emotions within us. So you have to focus on those emotions opposed to focusing on any reason why you can't do what it is that you need to do to get an end result that you gotta get. So ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen? Are you gonna die? Are you gonna die? Like, I doubt it. And whatever you're thinking is the worst thing that can happen, chances are it won't happen. Like, I'll give you an example for me. I was thinking that I'm gonna post my first video, or I'm gonna post some video, and after, like, people are gonna send me messages and tell me some foul type shit, like, you know, like anything, could say anything. and that hasn't happened. But even if it happened, then what? Am I gonna die? Is it gonna hurt me? It's not gonna hurt me. Sometimes we make a mountain out of a molehill, and that's really what it is. We're exaggerating our fears to justify why we can't do the thing that we need to do. The next thing that you want to do is reflect on things that you completed in the past. And this doesn't have to be huge. This could be something that's very small, like let's say tying your shoes, for example. I use that reference because I got it out of this book. And when the author said it, it was like, yeah, like it seems insignificant, but when you think of tying your shoes, there's still a process to it. When I think of my earliest memory of tying my shoelaces, there was a time I could not tie my shoelaces. Putting the two bows together just seems like a big science experiment. Like you couldn't do it simply, you know? So remind yourself of things that you've successfully done in the past, like let's say getting a good grade in a class. What about walking? Like we didn't come out of the womb walking, and now look at you, you can run. So it's not to say that you don't have evidence of going through a process to get a desired outcome that you want. You do have these references, but you just need to focus on them to remind yourself that you have overcome things in the past. Because remember, all we want to do is remind ourselves that we have the will to. Once we have the desire and we have the will to, we can create whatever it is that we want, right? Let's say in my case, right, this is kind of funny because I used to sing on stage in front of hundreds of people, and now, like, imagine I was doing that, and then I'm here at home in front of camera on my own and freaking myself out. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we really overthink things, and like I say, it's not that you're doing it because you want to do it, but you were made to believe that you couldn't do it. So you have to change your perspective on the way you look at these things. Lastly, keep promises to yourself. The more you keep promises to yourself, the more your mind believes that you can do what you say you're gonna do. Also start with baby steps. You don't ever want to jump on the deep end because it's gonna do more harm than good. The reason why it's going to do more harm than good is because more than likely you'll underperform because you're doing something that you're considering to be challenging for you at the same time too. So chances are, because you'll underperform, what you'll do is just amplify the negative self-talk because you attempted to do it, but you didn't do nowhere as close as you would have liked to done. But that again is because you jumped in on the deep end. So take baby steps instead, and remember to keep your commitments, because the more commitments you keep to yourself, the stronger your faith grows. So guys, this is the end of this video. I hope that you found this video valuable. Let me know what you're struggling with, and let's chop it up in the comment section. Alright guys, see you in the next video. Peace.